Hello, everyone, and welcome in another podcast. Today's guest is a special one because we are not often welcoming a woman here. So I wanted to introduce you, Una
Yes,
Derdovic. Did I say it correctly?
Dordevic.
Derdovic.
Nobody
Okay.
can say correctly besides like Serbian, and so it's Una Đorđević. You can say
Jo
Dordevic. I suppose that's okay also.
oh, it's Georgievich?
Đorđević, yes.
Oh my God, I will never get to it by
No,
myself,
no, no.
to be
Foreigners can
honest.
pronounce that.
I tried like 1,000 times before we hit the record, and yeah. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about women's competitors, just because, like we spoke before I hit the record button, there's a lack of knowledge on the internet when it comes to women, and I think that there are very competitive girls that wanted to do it correctly and wanted to get some knowledge from the internet, not only from their coaches, as the
Mhm.
coaches are not often the best source of knowledge, as many coaches are more likely to be coach like a male competitors, but they just wanted to make some more money, so they just allowed the girls to join, and
Yes.
they are treated it like a man basically, and that's not a good idea, I think. So let's start on the diet. So how
Mm,
we should establish the diet for the female competitors? Because as I spoke with Ole, which is
mhm.
your husband, I know
Yes.
that you guys are very restrict with your diets when it comes to micronutrients
Mhm.
and the everything around the health markers. So how to establish the proper diet for female competitors that wanted to make much progress as they can, but still keeping their health on a point.
Okay, so what is optimal for female should be like to have a little bit higher fat, moderate protein, and moderate carbs, or higher carbs. That's optimal. And now, personally, I like to do my diets, and I see it on others that they have better results if you have high carbs, high protein, high carbs, and moderate to lower fat. The lower, I say, at least minimal what you need for the normal bodily function. Why is because on myself, especially off season, because when you do intense workouts, you train with high intensity. The prime source for fuel is glucose. So that's why you need carbs. So if you have little carbs and higher fats, or when I see mostly that they go on ketogenic diets, often I don't think that's optimal. You can train like that, but I don't think it's optimal because the glucose is the primary source for fuel and for energy and ATP production. So, and the fat conversion to that, it's a little bit slower. So I like, and when I eat higher carbs, actually high protein, lower fat, I can go high in calories without adding excess body fat. If I switch, and I tried many times. So if I go like high fat and moderate carbs and moderate and higher protein, even though the total calories are the same, I'm still leaner by eating higher carbs and lower fat and high proteins.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, when you talk about a higher protein and higher fats, you use a term as many grams as it's needed for the human to run properly, for the female in
Yes.
this case to run properly. What do you mean by higher protein for a female? How do you
Uh,
count your protein? If this is just like Ole from direct sources or from
mhm.
whole so every
Only direct
sources?
sources. Only
Okay.
direct.
And about the fats, how many
Uh,
grams?
well, for myself, I can talk for many, like something optimal is like at least around 70, 75 grams of fats, good sources. people usually, and women in general, like they eat more fats than they think, because they come, like, for example, I ask how much do you eat, and they say like, okay, I eat like 60, 70 grams, and they don't calculate, from oats, they don't calculate for maybe protein if it has like 1 grams of fat or stuff. So you end up with like 20 grams more than they thought they use. For me, I like to keep carbs when I'm like when I try to build muscles. I like to keep it like between 350 and 400. That's optimal for me to grow. I can go even higher, but then I get a lot of water retention, so I get uncomfortable. But I noticed that this is like enough for me to grow slowly, like adding body weight each week. Proteins, I do eat, and I always have been eating high proteins. I just love first, and I have around 250, and I'm a female. There it's like 72 kilos, 74. So maybe for some it's excessive, but I just like how it works for me, and I'm pretty sure that I look good. Maybe it's just better nitrogen balance in the body, and gives me more satiety because I'm also hungry all the time. And the fats are around 60 grams, like when my carbs are so high, you know. But yeah, so in periods, if I want to do a little cut here and there, then I increase a little bit fats also and lower the carbs.
Okay, so you try to hit like above 1 gram per kilo of body weight,
Yes.
but added fats or whole fats for the day. So counting from the oats, like you said, from the proteins and stuff like that.
Yeah, counting fats are calculated
From
from everything. Yeah,
from everything. Okay.
proteins I don't calculate from oats. I know that yeah, their maybe bioavailability is like 60%. So I don't, calculate that. If you're on a deficiency, you should maybe calculate everything that you eat. But off season, I really, I eat eggs, mostly animal protein sources, beef, turkey,
Yeah.
chicken, dairy, and I don't recommend though for females and my clients that go that high, but it's higher than what usually can write, like what is recommended. Like I see that it's like 170, 180. I think those who train intense, they should eat around like 190, 200 at least. Yeah. For females that want to build mass, unless you're in bikini, then you really don't need.
Yeah, definitely. And the satiety thing is also important as
Yeah,
women tend to have a lower calories diet in general. So
mhm.
if something helps you stay on track,
Exactly.
that
Yes,
that's a perfect combo. It's more like you said, natural balance. Plus, you're less likely to get off the road and just start
exactly.
eating.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's perfect combo. So
'Cause
yeah,
Yeah, it's easy to say, like, you can just eat like 130 grams of protein and just eat hot carbs, but it's very difficult. And I know when I go lower with proteins, I'm hungry all day. So for me, I like higher proteins especially on diets, and it gives me more satiety. And I lean out no matter, because I'm sure that those calories that come from protein, they're not the calories like from fats, definitely, and carbs. So even if you eat a little bit excess, it's not like a preferable source of energy. So it's like a longer process for the proteins to be broken down into amino acids and then turn to glucose. So, and take in consideration thermic effect of food. So you burn more calories by digesting proteins, and that has to be converted into glucose than you would have, for example, for carbs to be just into glucose converted.
yeah, 3 times more. So yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah,
So that's why I
definitely.
prefer, and keeps me stay on track. Even though
Yeah,
I would never cheat on my diet, but it's like I feel much better. So yeah.
definitely. I noticed this by my on myself as well. I've never been like a fan of this move. There is a move of lower protein. I think that Stefan Kinsel a little bit started it just because
Mhm.
all of his guys are tend to have like a less protein, more carbs. Like for example, Martin Fitzwater. But those guys are often have a problem with appetite, so it
Yeah.
helps in that regards. But for people that are normal, for example, like me, I'm
Mhm.
a I'm a pig eater, so whatever
Me
you
too.
give me, I'm gonna eat
Exactly.
it. So no matter how much and how
Mhm.
tasty or not tasty, I'm gonna eat it. So yeah, the higher protein is definitely a way to go. Yeah,
Yeah, but I wouldn't like if you really push like calories and try to build mass, I wouldn't go above what you really need. Like maybe something that you can minimal of the protein you can eat and still grow, so you can have more appetite to eat other things. Because at the end of the day, if you don't consume calories in total, if they're too low, you're not gonna grow. So in that scenario, it's different. But on diet and maybe better for females because they are always hungry.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, how should training differs compared to the male athlete? I mean, in regards to the frequency, like intensity and volume.
For the wellness figure or in general, females?
I think in general females, but we can actually separate those categories just because probably the bikini girl is gonna train a little bit different than a figure or
Mhm.
especially like a physique athlete or a
Yeah.
bodybuilder.
Mm,
But bodybuilder is more like a trains like a man, so
exactly. Yeah.
nothing's
Well,
changing there.
um, I think in general, females have ability to recover faster because many reasons. First, they have higher estrogen. Second is they can't recruit so many muscle fibers like men can, and they have smaller muscles, so those smaller muscles recover faster. So maybe for females, it's best to do like not higher volume, but a lower volume and higher frequency. Higher, men, probably higher frequency than men
Yeah,
because of
okay.
that ability to recover.
Okay, but what do you mean not but on the not higher volume? So you ne how do you set up the training? Would be more like a heavy duty training, like a
Yes,
top and back off sets, or more like a
yes.
intensifiers and stuff like that?
Yes, I can say, for example, from my experience, I started like doing high volume many sets, but as I grew, like I could do less and less because I was able to recruit more muscle fibers when I trained. I got more muscle, so I needed more time to recover. So what I did like 6 years ago, I can't do now. Now that I train, I train even more intense, but it's just the total volume is reduced. It's probably reduced to 60% of what I used to do. And yes, definitely, like for everybody, no matter females and males, like it's the same principle. So you need heavy compounds to grow, to build the base strength and base muscle. And yes, I like back squats, front squats, deadlift variation, depending of your goal and what your division is that you compete in. So those are the basic, and then and I usually do like normal, just two sets, top set, backup set. And for some isolation exercises, I would do like a cluster sets, maybe just higher time under tension or high reps, and that's it. So for example, I would do like I can take for example the training that I did like two days ago, and it's like for example quads. So I do front squat, and that's like only one top set. Of course, I don't calculate like warm up sets that
Yes.
when you need to get to the top set. So the top set is like one rep before failure or failure, and then I have backup set with like 70% maybe of the load, and those are two sets. And then I would do like a pendulum or leg press where I have only two working sets, and I would do like two more sets on the depending, like it can be like extension or some other variation of the squat, like two sets more. So in total is 6 sets, like for the quad workout. That would be like first day. Fourth day, I would have like more hamstring and glutes and adductor focused. So that would be, but quads are also engaged, but not with the same movements, not what I did the 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So it would be like a variation of a sumo deadlifts, which also engaged quads to some degree. And then I would do for hamstring Romanian and maybe isolation something. And I would do maybe just 2 sets of Bulgarian split squat, which is like also for the quads and glutes. And that's it. That's the total volume. For example, it's a split volume. So I don't do like, I also tried doing all those sets for quads in one workout, but that leaves me like sore for many, many days. And I think that my recovery is not that good. So I think this works better for me, and I can better increase in strength that way. And I can also add muscles, and I don't feel like super sore and overtrained. And I can push more weeks like that. Like if I do like all in the one workout, like I mentioned, I have like 10 working sets in one for one muscle group in a week. And then I need like, I burn out quick. I burn out like maybe I can go 3-4 weeks and then feel like I need deload. So this time, actually, this is my current program. So what I mentioned. So that would be like one day and the second day. So both days are lower body days. You just different, focus. So, and then one more day I would do just isolation for the glutes. And that would be something, no compounds, like not so much taxing. So it would be just kickbacks, abduction, working more on the gluteus medius, and that's it. That's a weekly split.
So you basically split the volume throughout the week and just tapered the central nervous system load.
Yes.
For example, like a heavy lifts on the start of the week, and it slowly tapers down just to recover for the next week. Yeah.
Well, it's also like heavy compounds fourth day, that second workout, but it's not the same. If I have front
Yeah.
squats, I can't do deadlifts in Romanian 2 days after. My lower back is still not recovered from the front squats. So I try that, but then I get back strains and I get injured. Even though my legs can handle that, but the other like connective tissues can't. So I take like between those at least 4 days between like heavy compounds. And then I would do like some sumo or Romanian also compounds. And then on that third day, I would just do isolations during the week. And that can be 2 days after that heavier compound because it's not so much taxing.
Okay. So tell me, how closer to the failure would you go? Assuming you have 6 sets for a quads, for example.
Mhm.
How many of the sets will be till failure?
Maybe only one.
One
Maybe
set.
only till failure. Yes. One would be maybe very close to failure, but not, total failure.
Okay, so like a 1-2 shy from failure.
Yes.
Okay. It is.
So I can keep because I do progressive overload. If I like do everything till failure, I can't, like maybe I can do that 2 weeks, but then I burn out and then I would have to like reduce volume that third week and go back to the normal volume fourth week. But I prefer to do this like this, a progressive overload for like, I can handle like 7 weeks, maybe 8. And then I need a reload and then again.
Okay, so when it comes to deload, are you planning your deloads, or you just like
Auto
how
regulate.
auto regulates? Yes, this is the word
Yeah.
I lost.
It's mostly auto-regulated. I mean, I have in my mind, like, okay, I probably can do like this 7 weeks max, and then I shoot. Like, it just happened like last workout that I planned it because we had like too many other activities and we traveled. So, and I was like, oh, today I'm gonna do the deload, and then I start warming up, and I feel like everything. I feel already on warming up. Like if I feel just that I'm like slower than usual, then means that my central nervous system is still not super recovered. But when I feel that it's just going easy and the weight feels how it should, then there is no need for a deload. So I did one more session, even though it was planned, but I felt good. So why not?
Okay. So basically, you've already touched the subject, but what are the signs that you've noticed from yourself or your clients of like the moment that you needed to make a short break or a deload?
There are many. Usually, I come to workout. I feel already like tired throughout the day. That's maybe the first time. I just like basically like normal activities starts to be annoying. Like it can be like My sleep can be also like a little bit disturbed. Like I don't sleep that quality, and then when I wake up and I feel like I need to make food again or something, and those are not my usual thoughts. So when I find like daily tasks, like oh my god, I need to do this again, and then I start notice that I'm maybe not the best. And but usually I feel while warming up. If I come and I feel like that I'm just like struggling with my usual weights, then it's definitely time. Maybe one workout like that, I can just like maybe reduce volume. But if I come to the next workout and I still feel like that, take consideration that you're not sick or anything else, then it's time.
Okay. Okay. So tell me how you manage your deals because there are the people that are just cutting the volume, cutting the intensity, or just doing a short break. What is your preferable way?
I like to reduce the loads that I work with, and sometimes, yeah, usually loads are not to 50%, but I would like keep it around 65, maybe up to 70. But I will reduce the total volume. So if I do like 6 sets, I would do like maybe 4 sets, and I would take away everything that is like taxing for the nervous system. So that can be cluster sets. I don't do cluster sets that week. I don't do nothing till failure. So if I had previous week working 1 rep before failure, I would have here like at least five, 4 reps before failure. So you still train, you still go through all the movements, but the volume is reduced from 50% to like maybe 65%, something like that, depending
Okay.
how much beaten I feel. If I really feel that I'm super fatigued and my joints hurt, and then I would do just 50% that week. So it can be either from the volume and number of sets or the weight that you do, the loads.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the off season for the female competitors because there's
Mhm.
some sort of trend right now that the coaches are making the girls some sort of chubby. Do you think that is a necessity for building muscle for a woman?
I think that depends very much of your natural state. Like, are you prone to add fat? Is it lean something that it's you can still eat, and not having difficulties maintaining that body fat? Or you really have to struggle to stay lean. So if you really have to be restrictive with the calories and carbs, then it's maybe not the best for those females to try to keep lean all the time if they never can eat like in that surplus that they need to add muscles. But I don't need that you have to have like excessive body fat added. So depends of your natural state. So for me, like I was never like overweight or had a lot of body fat. So I can eat like surplus 3,000 something calories, and I'm not as lean as a competition. Of course, I'm like 8 kilos difference at least, but at some body fat that I can be comfortable in everyday life, and also enough so I can actually recover and train hard, get stronger, and build mass. So you don't have to go if you can just start yourself and see like does your weight increases like by the certain calories that you eat, does it increases like every week, and does your strength increase? If yes, there's no need to add more calories on that if it goes good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how. I don't even know what they eat. Like, how can they get like some of them excessive body fat besides overeating?
But you notice this, yes?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, there is a trend, and I think that I don't know why, but that people are trying to make a woman like a different species. Like I don't know why men should keep their body fat in check just to
yeah,
prevent the losing of the insulin sensitivity. But when
yeah.
it comes to the woman, that thing is actually not even a point in a conversation. There are not many coaches that's talking about a female and insulin sensitivity. It's
Yeah.
what's wrong with
Maybe
that?
the only thing I can think of it is that maybe some females need certain amount of body fat to get regular periods. So if they want to have regular periods and they can get it by a certain body fat, if they need to increase because of that, then I understand from that, you know. But I don't like if they have on a certain body fat, like I said, certain calories to eat, you have certain body fat that is not your competition look. So that's not healthy for females, like all the time to look like that. And you can't recover. I mean, who can eat like all the time so low calories? And recover and get stronger. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
get it. Yeah,
I just think that you should just follow. You should gradually increase before like dumping 2.5 calories extra. You should gradually increase calories to and see that you get stronger. Your weight is increasing. You get more muscles, and you get your periods. So if everything is checked, there is no need to add like extra 1,000 calories.
yeah, I am not sure if you're reading my mind, but the next question was actually a menstrual cycle. Should we establish the training and diet around it? Or do you think that it's irrelevant? Just wake, work through it.
You mean if somebody doesn't have regular cycles
No,
or
no. I mean, like for female athletes, there are some coaches that are trying to use um, the time right before the menstrual cycle to just bump it up the strength and then just maintain it, and then just they are switching the macros just to do something. You
no?
got the idea, yes? Like
Yeah,
using,
maybe it's excessive. Like I don't know. Like I never thought about it, and I don't rely on when I don't notice the difference any. Like
yeah.
when I'm in the month, like when my strength is, I don't think about those things. So I just go and train, you know. So I think that might be excessive. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. This is just trying to sell an idea that you're smarter than you actually
Yeah.
needs to. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I understand some science behind it, but I don't think it really works like that in like practice. So it's the same with the calories and food. You can say, oh, now your like insulin sensitivity is the best after workouts, so all the carbs should be after workouts because you know the insulin sensitivity is the best, and you should avoid completely on the rest days. Cut completely, like what I heard also. Cut completely like
Uh,
carbs days that you don't train because you don't need it. That's
m-
not. I mean, it's like
middle
in
style.
it makes sense kind of because like a science based, but I don't think in real life works like that.
I think it's more like a cherry picking because it's actually not making us any sense
Yeah,
because you're like restoring your glycogen for
exactly. When
48 hours at
yeah,
least after the workout. So why you should avoid the carbs, for
I don't
example, in the
understand that,
breakfast?
and
Yeah.
I can ask you why do they do that? Like why do
This is
you?
why I say this is a cherry pick, just because coming in that way, you should eat only a curcumin and
Yeah,
cinnamon and stuff like that, because this is the only way to get like a healthy and stuff like that. Or you shouldn't eat omega 6s because some people still thinks they are pro-inflammatory and stuff like that. And actually, they are not. So yeah, that about the losing a menstrual cycle, do you think in some cases it's a norm, or you never should lose it during the off season? Because we both knows that the contest prep are a different animal. You're
mm,
just doing what you need, so you probably have to be be okay with losing your period for a certain time. But for the off season and the rest of the year, you think you should do whatever it takes to just keep your menstrual cycle in check?
that depends very much. Like I said before, like what's your natural state of body fat that your body needs to get to regular periods. So if you want to have regular periods, then you kind of need to get to that body fat. But I don't think that needs to be excessive body fat. But it has to be for sure maybe like 18% or depends. Like I know very, very skinny girls that they have regular periods and they basically have very low body fat, even though they're not into training or anything. It's just their natural state. Also know a little bit higher fat that they like lose some body fat and they're far from leanness of that skinny girl that had regular periods and still loses the period, but they're not so the skinny girl has less body fat than the one that lost body fat and still has regular periods, and the one by losing like 5 kilos of body fat and still has more body fat than the skinny girl loses her periods. So it's very individual. I don't.
Yeah, but you are talking about the cutting phase, like
No, I'm
reducing
talking
your
about in general
yeah.
body fat necessary for
Yeah,
a female to
but
get
let's
regular
set.
periods.
But are you trying to let's put it in a different. Do you think that if you are, for example, pro athlete and your goal is to compete, it is okay to lose it like almost forever? Never
That's
had.
a personal choice. I can't say it's okay or
Yeah,
definitely.
but as a coach, do you allow it for something like that?
I also
Or
leave that to the athlete to choose. Like because
so
depending where they
let
are in life, do they plan to have kids or they already have kids and they don't care, they're finished with it, so they don't care.
what in a case that they are wanted to have kids, but for example, their coach never told them that they should keep their period, so they just assume that it's okay, and they don't have a period for years, for example.
Then in that case, should be better to increase the body fat and get regular periods if they plan to have kids.
Okay, okay. Yeah, this
Even
is
though there are cases they don't have periods for 4 years and then they restore hormones, hormonal profile and body fat and everything, and they get periods and they get pregnant. But by doing so, taking not having for many years, you're reducing your chances, but still it's possible. But is it worth risking? That's very up to a person to choose.
yeah.
You can uh like warn a person about possible consequences, but it's up to them to choose.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to hear, just because probably the girls that are gonna listen to our podcast are not on the Olympia level, and
Mhm.
they are actually more often I find out that the girl don't even know what they are wanted at the end of the
Yeah.
journey. So they started with the coach. The coach established something, and they are just sticking to it because the girls are more likely to be happy to stick to the plan no matter what.
Mhm.
So this is why I ask, what would be the healthiest way of doing this? Because some girls are just assume that, okay, I am a competitor. That's normal that I don't have a period for 6 years now.
Mhm.
And you get me, yes?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
healthiest way is to have periods, you know.
Okay.
That's the healthiest way. But again, like what do you want? So, but I think there is no reason why they shouldn't have when the diet is over. They're probably gonna during the diet when they hit certain body fat, they're probably gonna lose. But after the diet is finished and you restore your body fats to a normal level and you eat, good diet with a lot of good nutrients, there is no need why you shouldn't get a period again.
Yeah.
So if you don't, then it's something different, like not right with your hormones. So it can be if they're just competing, let's say they're completely like natural athletes and they go like do the diet. Usually there is a down regulation of the T3 because you're pushing your body to an unnatural state for female because females are not supposed to be so lean. So you're working against your body. So you get your T3 down regulated at the end in during that diet at the end of the diet. So that needs some time to get up regulated after, and some don't get it like regulated after several months. They go with the low T3, and then in that case they should check with the doctor. They should do the blood works to check their thyroid hormones to see if everything is good in blood works, you eat enough, you have body fat, there is no need to not to get a period.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about a little bit about the more hardcore girls, let's say it like that, or the girls who just they are know that they are gonna be on the Olympia stage one day, and this is their goal, and no matter what. So what woman should consider before deciding on being a competitor on that level? What she has to potentially sacrifice, and what are the potential risks for that woman?
Well, it has to be very much driven by your desires and passion. That's the first. Like if you uh, really want to be that level, there will be for sure sacrifices. It depends how bad you want it. So uh, it's difficult to answer because, like, for me,
Yeah,
for example,
I'm saying like more like a health wise. For example,
mhm,
she should consider that she might never have kids. She should
yeah,
consider that she can have maybe some sort of diet issues or mental issues when it comes to the whole process of it. For example, or like mood swings and stuff like that.
yeah.
You know what
It's
I mean? Yeah,
be that clean and go into the competition diet. It's not healthy, like, but it's like it's up to you how much do you want to sacrifice it. So yeah, they should be aware of the consequences. You can lose your period. You can maybe not being able to have kids after. Maybe you can. But those are all the possibilities that can happen, and that's up to a person to decide. You know,
yeah,
but it's very difficult for me to say. For me, I don't feel like I'm sacrificing because no matter if I compete or not, my training, my diet, when it comes to training and diet, and will be the same. Like if you tell me now you're not going to compete ever again, nothing in my life will change. And so I don't feel like I'm sacrificing anything. But
yeah,
if you're doing only for the purpose to show up on a stage one day for like 20 minutes, and then maybe you should rethink, like if the competition's only like it's like you hate everything about your lifestyle.
yeah.
So in that case, maybe you should rethink it because like, but I think the majority of the women who are competing at that level, it's their big passion. So
Yeah, I totally get you just because I feel the same. For me, anything that is related to the bodybuilding is not considered like a sacrifice, but I just called it sacrifice just because it's I assume that there's a girl who just watching it and just thinking about it. Maybe she's driven by the social media, or
mm,
maybe she has a friend that competes and she don't see it every day.
yeah,
How many hours a day you have to spend in the kitchen, in a gym,
mm,
on a posing room and stuff like that. So for some girls, this is just like, oh, that's fun. I'm gonna be a
yeah,
competitor, and they
mm,
are not considered all health like risks and everything that's involved, even the money that because this is not a cheap sport. It's a very, very,
yes, yes,
especially for a woman, just because all the hairstyles on the makeup,
exactly. Well, that's the
the
only one part.
suit,
Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah, yeah.
suit, boots, everything. My wife is a pro. This is her card.
Oh,
So yeah, so I
nice.
I know how it look. For me, it's
Yeah,
like a 50 zloty, so it's maybe like a 10 euros for
$5 for trunks.
yeah, for the trunks. And she
That's it. And
spends more
then,
than my first card cost. Like so,
yeah, suits are expensive.
yeah, so the woman should consider it as well. If
Yeah,
you
it's
don't,
expensive. Yeah,
yeah, if you
and
don't have
that's
a great job that can fuel your passion, that maybe is not for you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, Not only that, it's the okay again food. Like if it's not your wouldn't be like your routine. Like for me, no matter if I compete or not, it's exactly the same. Like I need competition only like as only thing that I do related to the competition that I couldn't do in everyday life is to get that lean. I can't be motivated on a regular basis to get to that stage when I'm all the time tired and
Yeah.
that and practicing posing, which I hate also. So I hate that, and I don't like practicing posing. So yeah, for that I need a good reason. So I need competition. But yes, it's expensive. You need to pay not only that, like it's the suit, it's the heels, it's the makeup if you don't do it yourself, it's the hair, it's the tanning, it's the fee. If you're an amateur, you want to compete in every show. It's a travel, it's a hotels, tickets, everything. So
Yeah.
it's in total, it's a lot, but you can all somebody can just do for experience and think like it's like just like a travel or instead of a summer vacation if they want to have the experience, and then they see like where they are, do they have potential, or not. If they have, maybe they should pursue it.
Yeah.
And
Basically, if you compete for the first time and you fall in love with it, nothing's gonna matter. So if
yeah.
someone's already compete and catch the back, he's probably are not even thinking about stuff like money. Is the
Mm.
some guys or girls are even like willing to get a loan just to compete. So there's a crazy story out there. So yeah.
I feel you.
So when it comes to the competitors for the female athletes, how long you like to establish for your prep? For example, like a normal time for a guy is 12 to 16 weeks, maybe 20 weeks for the
Mm.
competition prep. And for a girl, what would be the best time? Assuming that she's in a good place for the start. So she's not fat, she's
Yeah.
not tired and stuff like that. You just
Like I would have to see what body fat, and depends again which division they are competing in. How lean they need to be,
For
because that can be.
example, she's a figure competitor. She's, for example, 23 to 24% of body fat. So she's not fat for a lady.
Mhm.
And she's basically after the deload, so she's fresh. So
Mhm.
how many
Well,
weeks do you
I would
think?
say 16 weeks at least. Yeah, 16 weeks.
Okay.
Because I can tell you why. You can, if you do it too quick, um, you can first do it like 16 weeks. If you realize you're ready before, as the first competition, you should start earlier. But if you realize during the process that, oh, yeah, I can be leaner much faster, I don't need so much, then it's fine. But at the beginning, I would do it because especially when if they come, they're not so lean, they need like time for that skin. When do you lose body fat, the skin to catch up and get tighter. So that can't happen like in a 2 weeks. So then that skin needs time to catch up, and for that reason, it's 16 weeks, I would say. And also, the diet doesn't have to be so restrictive, so it's much easier for them. They still can do it in a slower tempo, so it's not so much, mentally challenging. And they should be stay like in a good condition 2-3 weeks out. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's in total like 13 weeks, and then be ready like at least 2 weeks out in a decent, you know.
Okay.
Um, Other reason is because, especially for females, because you are working against your body, so your female body doesn't want to be that lean, you know. Then it's gonna be some difficulties. Like after a while, you will first weight is gonna go and body fat's gonna go easy, and then you come to the point when your body is starting, struggling to keep that body fat, and even down regulating your metabolism, you know. So you need to work against. You need to either lower the calories or do more cardio, and so it needs time for females especially,
Okay. So
because
when it
it's
comes,
gonna be, yeah.
yeah, you say cardio, and this is the tricky one because what about the cardio for females? Do you like to incorporate it a lot, or you like to keep it as low as possible? And what's form of cardio is greater for a female athlete, like a least hit, or maybe something like I don't know, like a weight, very quick paced weight training or something like that.
It's the same for males, low intensity cardio. Like you do your weight training, you use glucose there, and when you do like a cardio, it's to burn body fat. So you want to be in a state where you're in a fat burning zone. And that's usually like 120 maybe pulse. And that's walking on a treadmill, walking like doing maybe elliptical, nothing excessive. Like I wouldn't do high intensity intervals because you're using glucose there, you're breaking
Yeah.
even more muscles, and you're in a calorie deficiency. So your goal is to burn body fat. So in that, I would just keep low intensity cardio. Training intense with the weights. Try to keep as much like loads. Try to keep as much your strength like at the beginning, and then add the diet itself will do everything,
Yeah.
and cardio. I like to do like, for example, cardio because sometimes during the day I have like a crisis and then I get hungry. And then, when you work out, the digestion stops. So when I go like do like a low pace, 45 minutes cardio. And then I forget, I get hungry, even though I get hungry after, but at least those like 2 hours, I'm not hungry. So for that reason also, but I wouldn't do anything excessive. Like I said, I would never do 2 hours of cardio in my life a day. Never. Like I quit if I need to do 2 hours. That's not happening. Like I think like maybe 4 to 5 times a week, 5 times max, 45 minutes walking on a treadmill. That should be. If you can't lose that with if you can't lose with that cardio and calorie deficiency and weight training, then you need probably more time.
Or you're just fucking around at the gym and not
Yeah.
training. Yeah, this is I've noticed this that if someone has a problem with burning fat, more likely his training looks like warm up. Or
Yeah, that's true also. That's
sometimes
like,
people send you a video and I
yeah, exactly.
just answer. I would not even consider this a warm up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. Because I also noticed that, and I also mentioned to Ula that usually when I see guys going solo, like they're basically eating less than me. Like, how? And then you see how they train, and then it's like, that's why, you
yeah,
don't burn that much. You don't. It's very
yeah,
much. It's very much like your calories also off season depends like how intense you train. And also how much protein you need. Like the more intense you train, no matter like you break down more muscles, and you need more proteins also. And that's the goal. Same with the carbohydrates. How intense you train. So if somebody can't like lose on like 80 grams of carbs and then low fat and enough protein, then something is off. Like then you should do blood work. See, maybe the thyroid is downregulated.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. That shouldn't be a norm. And for girls, also, they very often have a history of very bad dieting in the
Yeah.
past. So
Mhm.
that's if she's a new client, that could be a potential reason if she is not really honest with you, because some
Yeah.
girls just don't want to tell you the truth because they are ashamed of it. They
Mhm.
are trying like a banana diet or something like that. So yeah, and that could potentially fucked up your metabolism for a really wild. So you have to check your thyroid level and also your whole blood panel, because
Yes.
you could have a severe deficiency in many micro and macronutrients, and that could be a reason as well, as because we need those micronutrients to regulate the metabolism
Yes, exactly.
properly. So yeah. So this is
Like,
why I am big on vegetables and fruits. And some guys are just they are very hard to convince that you need to eat your veggies. They think they are hardcore because they are using less and less veggies every meal. And
No, but I
that's
think it's
yeah,
like depending on the type, but leafy vegetables, and especially those like they usually just contain fiber, and you don't use fiber. You can just get bloated, but you're not gonna not lose weight because of it.
of
And
course.
but there are mistakes. There are mistakes when they are eating raw types of vegetables. Maybe higher in sugars a little bit, and that can like inhibit a little bit
Of course,
fat
of
loss.
course.
Yeah, but if you're eating like I ate even like I don't know even like a worst 800 grams. I think that like I just cut cabbage and ate it, so it didn't affect like doesn't affect anything. When it comes to fat loss.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, is you should establish your daily norm for veggies, for example, 150 to 200 grams per meal, and that should be your staple throughout the year, no matter if it's off season or contest prep. You should
Yeah.
just stick to it and eat it like that. Maybe at the end of the off season when the food is really really high and the amount of fiber from pure
Mm.
sources of food is very high, you can lower a little bit your veggies. But other than that, I think you should keep it whole year round, like on a staple throughout the
Yeah.
year. So yeah,
The only problem with the vegetables nowadays, it's like you don't really know how much they contain like nutrients. And because those like spinach, like for example, that you now you Google spinach nutrition data and it comes like, oh, magnesium, this and that, zinc, blah, blah, blah. And then those are like from data from spinach that was like 60 years ago in a soil that it was rich with the minerals and everything. Now it's depleted. So you don't know, like when you eat those vegetables, how much their pesticides they're used, do they even contain any minerals or anything. From that, I wouldn't rely like that much unless you have your own in your own garden, you know what you do. But I wouldn't rely that much as a like super vitamin and mineral source. I would just supplement it. Like you have also a lot of besides vitamin C, which is in the vegetables, which you also can supplement. Every minerals and vitamins you also have in red meat, you also have in eggs. So, but it's a good for diets because it gives volume to the portions. It gives volume to the food, so you're less hungry too.
yeah,
So in that sense, I
and the
always recommend the
fiber
diets.
content is really
Exactly.
important to clear out your colon and to help with your
Yes.
cholesterol and stuff like that. But to be honest, I don't like the multivitamins stuff. I think this
No,
the
I take everything separate because
oh
multivitamins,
yeah.
first of all, like how can you pack in a tablet that it's less than a gram, 400 milligrams of magnesium, 50 milligrams of zinc, 1 gram of vitamin C? That's not possible.
Even if you
So,
if even if you could that, for example, magnesium and copper and stuff like that inhibits the iron and stuff like that. The minerals inhibits themselves. So if you
yeah.
pack everything in one tablet, they like a 75% of the minerals is just through the toilet. So
Yeah.
it's just stupidity. But people are very comfortable when it comes to supplement choice, so they don't like to like reaching for the three tablets if they could reach for
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I understand that,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's not. You don't need like every single vitamin to supplement. You have, if you're not only eating shakes and dextrose, you have vitamins
yeah,
in the
of
meats
course.
and everything. But
Unless you
I
eat
would,
like a cream of rice and whey, cream of rice and whey, cream
yeah,
of rice.
then you're deficient for sure. Well, although you have some in the also whey and the cream of rice, but I would supplement always with the vitamin D3, and I would always supplement with the omega threes. That's
Yeah.
definitely because you can't get those. You can get like if it's salmon that it's like that ate that it's not farm raised, but do you even know if it's farm raised or not? Like does it do
No.
you know if it ate corn or it ate algae? So in that sense, I would like supplement the tablets and omega 3, D3, and maybe zinc, magnesium electrolytes, all the electrolytes, magnesium, some potassium also. And those would be, and vitamin C, and those would be the necessary. And now, the rest of it, like you can do the blood works and see what you're deficient, and then
Yeah.
supplement in addition.
Yeah, so I'm the same here. I think that should be a staple, but other than that, I hate multivitamins. And every time the new
Yeah.
clients comes in, the first thing that I threw away is the multivitamin.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I
This is a
know.
waste of
Especially,
money.
yeah, because they usually I ask to send me the nutrition data of the supplements they use, and then they put of the multivitamins. It's like 50 milligrams of magnesium, like for the, and I was
Yeah.
like, nothing enough. Like they have everything, but nothing is enough. So they can sell that. They won't harm you, but they don't do anything for you.
Yeah, definitely. So, um, let's talk about a little bit about the fat burners use. Do you like to use fat burners with your woman clients or
No, I don't.
stuffs? What
I
about
don't do it.
the stuffs like GH for the fat loss? Like for
Yes,
example,
yes. D8 in combination with T3 would be like a very good stack for fat burning
yeah,
diet. I don't like any stimulants, anything of that. I think in like people usually maybe use too much of it, and they can also raise the adrenaline and cortisol and make you retain water and lose actually stresses you out only. And I don't think it's necessary. If you have a good setup, if you use GH, and the combination with T3, that should be completely enough
okay,
for,
so what should be a sufficient dose for a woman, and how would you spread out it through the day? Because there is a big topic in Poland
Mm.
how you should use your GH.
For females to be on the safe side, I would say GH between 1.5 to 2 units a day. It can be, if you take 2 units, it can be all taken in the morning, or it can be taken 1 unit in the morning and 1 unit after the workout. I wouldn't take before bed because you produce your own GH during sleep.
At least you're
So,
over 30.
yeah, true. And the T3 was starting point, I would use like T3, not T4. So T3 is the active form. And that would be like, oh, again, maybe it's better to do the blood works and see if your T3, if it's high, like there's no need to use it. But if it's like getting lower by the diet, then you can add like 25 mcg, and I wouldn't exceed 75. So maybe gradually add it every 2 weeks, 12.5 mcg and up to 75. Yeah,
75
max,
microgram. Oh my God.
max. That's nobody actually that I
Whoa.
know and never use that much, but I know that that should be like
Never use more than 30 with my guys, to be
yeah.
honest. But I've combined the T3 with the T4. We have something called Novotiral,
Mhm.
and it's like a 20 micrograms of T3 plus 100 micrograms of T4. So that's more likely enough, or sometimes 25, 125, or maximum like 1.5 tablets. So it's 30, 150. So that should be uh,
I think
enough.
I think the T3 is the only thing that works, like the does the fat burning and increases of the metabolism. That part. I can even tell you the story because one time wasn't available so to get like a T3, so I had to T4 use. And at the end, my T3 on a diet was low, very low. So didn't do anything. So when you take T4, it's up to your body if it's going to convert to T3 or
Yeah.
not. You don't know that. Maybe some people convert, maybe some convert zero. So you don't know that. So why would you risk? It's just better to take the active form.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. For that reason, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about thick skin competitors. I've just write it like thick skin competitors, but you know
Thick
those girls,
skin.
yeah, you know those girls that they have like a thicker skin
Yeah.
or like a some sort of loose skin, and it's even though they have like a separated legs and stuff like that, maybe on their like a love handles or
Mm,
maybe on their belly, it's still like a it's not a field of water because there's like no body fat out there, but the skin is really thick. Do you
Yeah.
have athletes like that, and how do you manage it to just trying to thinner the skin
You need to be stay in the conditioning for a longer time
for a
for
longer
that
time?
skin to catch up. That's why I said previously, like for females, like depending on the starting point, but for females, it's better like to, and for males too, like depending on the starting point, it's better to be a little bit longer on a diet and lose body fat gradually and get the time for the skin to catch up instead of doing like shortcut and then you lose body fat. If you lose that body fat quick, like let's say you have a pocket like this of fat and this is skin around, and then you lose like in like month and a half, all that skin doesn't have time like to catch up. It needs more time for that. So I think the best is like who can like stay in, be ready 5 weeks out if needed, almost ready.
Okay,
So
okay.
it needs time for the skin to catch up. That's why, like I remember also my skin looked the best when I was competing 2 times, and it was like a 3 month period. So I had like a competition diet that lasted like maybe more than 12 weeks. I competed, and I had 3 months off, and then I had a competition. During that 3 months, I didn't add much body fat. I remember that a little bit, but not much. So I was lean more than almost 6 months. It was painful, but my
Yeah,
skin looked the best. So that's what I wanted to say. So in that cases, you need more time. Some clients like because if they're older, it's more difficult because your skin loses collagen and it doesn't catch up that fast comparing to somebody who is like 20, 21, 23. And also depends like of the if the clients were previously in some period in their life, like having a lot of body fat, then like some of them never get rid of that excess skin.
okay.
They can
So
catch up. Yeah.
so you think that the fat cells could actually vanish from
Sorry.
like vanish, like disappear, just because you are
The, I
lean for a longer time?
mean,
Because
I think there is some
there
body
was
fat left
yeah yeah
because
yeah
you
definitely
hold water because you have fat there. You know.
yeah definitely. But I
Yeah.
mean in regards to keep your skin in check for even a whole off season. Do you think that if you are being in shape for a certain amount of time, you
Hmm.
could like change a little bit the
Yes.
amount of your of yeah?
Yeah.
Because
It's like a certain amount of like if you're like I think to like 10 kilos difference for sure you can get that skin like tighter just by time.
okay,
But if somebody like had 40 kilos sober sometime previous in their life, for them, they can still be very, very lean and still have excess skin, and then in that case, I don't know, like if you're so lean and you still have excess skin and you're 35 plus and you had like 40 kilos extra for the few years of your life, then it's very difficult. I think in those cases, like maybe only surgery helps. But these athletes, like on and off, I think that's just a little bit longer, maybe a few weeks difference just for the skin to catch up.
okay. So let's talk about contraceptive pills, like a birth control pills, because many girls are using it. And do you think that it's like affects a building muscle or getting in shape? And how do you manage it with a girl?
Actually, I don't use myself. I don't have athletes using it. I know that it's not, you get that little bit softer look from it. Can you build muscle? Yeah, I think you can build muscle, but probably it's a little bit difficult to getting into shape that you want. When it comes to body
Yeah,
fat, when it comes to the overall look, you're gonna be softer using that for sure. Like just
okay.
and I don't know even how they do at the end of the diets because the higher estrogen also you elevate. It's difficult to lose body fat. So maybe for a bikini is fine because they don't have to be like super hard, super lean. So in that case, maybe they can benefit actually like just having like a little bit softer look. But I don't know if that's good for divisions that require very good conditioning.
Yeah, I'm smiling a little bit just because right before the competition, you probably don't need a birth control because
Exactly.
nothing works out there. So
True.
so yeah, but this is a tricky question. I thought that maybe you know a little bit about it, but most of the coaches don't because the competitors are more likely not using it because
Exactly. Yeah.
it's shifting a lot with your hormones, and it's
Yeah.
very hard to manage it properly, to be honest, to even to read your
Mhm.
body correctly, just because
Yeah. Yeah.
everything is changing so much. Depends on how what generation of the pills you use and stuff like
Mhm.
that. There's a very tough topic to talk. So let's just switch
Yeah.
I have a last question, to be honest. Uh, This is the important one, and I wanted to you answer by yourself what was your biggest mistake and what is the more common mistake that you've seen girls are doing, even if they are advanced, because sometimes the minds are just there's there's a there's a creature called the fuck up fairy, and
Yeah.
she's just whispering into your ear and
Yeah.
just sometimes is not helping at all. So
Yeah.
what are the biggest mistakes female competitors makes during the off season as well as the contest prep, in your opinion?
When it comes to diet, training doesn't matter, just overall.
Overall.
Let me think. I don't know. What was my biggest mistake? Uh, Not listening before that my body needs more time to recover, that's for sure. That led to many like back strains, disc slips, prolapses and stuff. So yeah, that's but I also can call it like yes, it was a mistake, but it also was an experience. So now I know what to do. You know? If I didn't make that mistake before, I wouldn't do things that I do now, all the things that I need to prevent that happening again.
Yeah.
So it's not about like just making a mistake. It's like, can you learn something from it and use it after, or just get over and over
Yeah.
keeping the say that's just then
Spin
stupid.
the
Like
wheel.
yeah. So I would say for me it was maybe that. I wouldn't say much about any diets that it was like mistake. Maybe sometimes I'm like get too like anxious. Oh, I'm gonna be like, do am I gonna really lean out? And then I cut a little bit, food, but not so much. But I think like even the last diet, it's like maybe I didn't need to cut so much. Maybe I could lean out, but I freaked out, so I cut. So I think that like maybe for females and I would say like many like females that come, they have similar issue. They don't eat enough. They are afraid to get fat, but they eat very low, so they don't have enough energy, enough nutrients to build muscle, and they metabolism just get down regulated, so they don't get even leaner. So they are like in a state they're not lean and they can't build muscles and they don't eat enough. They don't eat like they can be like on 1,500 calories. Like that's low. I think like if you are a female and you are like seriously like into weight training and you train intense, there's no reason why your body shouldn't handle at least 2,400, 2,300 calories like off season. You should be able to handle that. If you like train so hard and you eat like 13,000 calories, there's something is really off. I think that can be fixed. Like it's just your body's down regulating.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking you're gonna say that, like, not eating enough and
yeah, that, but
overdo,
that's not enough. Yeah.
yeah, and overdo on the cardio because
Oh yeah, yeah, that's another
yeah,
topic. Yeah. I
girl
see.
love
I
their
don't know why
cardio.
women do that. I don't know. But I've seen like excessively doing Stairmaster. Like if you're wellness, like for example, and even figure, like they still train hard, and you do every single day, like when your legs have time to recover. Seriously, if you're doing high intensity all the time, when your legs get time to recover,
Yeah,
like you're breaking down more and more and more, getting into overtraining, and when you do cardio all the time, even the off season, I heard like they're doing like 5 times a week cardio. It's like difference between like going like walking a little bit, like 25 minutes, slow pace, or just like, excessively doing elliptic. And I think that your body, I mean, it's scientific also, like the more you do, the more your body gets used to a certain activity and you burn less calories by doing the same activity in a longer run.
Yeah.
So your body just get adjusted and you're like wasting energy for nothing, So yeah, if somebody is really prone to like getting high body fat off season, I would just keep my diet better in check. I wouldn't like excessively train. You need time to recover.
So yeah, I wanted you to tell that out loud because I am not working with female competitors, but I have female like lifestyle clients, and nine out of the 10 times when she gets the diet, they are always freaking out. There is so much food. Can we cut it down a little bit? It's too much and stuff like that. And it's like maybe less than 2000 for a start, for example. This is just the one is that people are not oftenly just undercounting their calories. So because she was eating chocolate before, she thinks that is less calories than, for example, a bag of rice. And a bag of rice is feeling her out. So she thinks in her head that she eats a lot.
Yeah.
But she actually eats less than a table of chocolate.
But in that sense, like even when you eat, like if you eat like only crap food and you eat like, let's say processed, you had chips, you had chocolate, you ate everything the body doesn't eat, like for bodily functions, and you eat 1500 calories, like then it's too high. You're still gonna add body fat. When you give, like, it's so simple to explain, I think, like to understand, but they I just think they're just afraid or just too focused on like total calorie consumption throughout the day. It's like what your body needs. Like what your body needs. Like if your body needs, like, let's say 160 grams of protein a day, that's your requirements. Your body needs to change certain way, at least 200 grams of carbs. That's not going to be stored as fat. Your body going to use all of that because it needs. If your body needs like omega-3s, it needs monounsaturated fats, it needs for like cell membranes, for many hormones to be produced, like those good 50 grams of fat, it's not going to be stored as fat. Like it's going to be used for all the process in your body. But if you eat like, super high over-fried vegetable oils in combination with, God knows, trans fats and pure sugar, then your body doesn't need that. You're going to be stored as fat, most likely. If you're like a type, like, for example, regular people, who not so much into training. If you're a type sitting in a like a office and you only do like all day at the computer and you go on a walk, for example, you don't need high calories. Like you're gonna get fat by eating high calories because your body doesn't have required for because you don't use it. You don't train intensively, you don't train high intensity, so you don't burn it. But for an athlete like that trains really hard 4 to 5 times a week, yes, of course, those like you need high carbs because all those carbs are going to be used. So you need also to think like what's your like lifestyle. You need to think what your body needs. So everything that needs not going to be added as a body fat. I had like people coming like they've been eating like so low and so bad food they actually were fat, and by changing like the calorie composition, completely macros and everything, they can like increase up to like 700 calories and still be leaner than they were by eating that, just by changing completely, giving the body what it needs. So so I think the people, women, they're too much focused on like total calories. Like,
so one good word for all the ladies who wanted to be a competitors on a high level from you right now.
get a good coach.
Yeah.
Get a good coach, because then if they're in doubt with something, they're gonna explain everything to them, and and they're not gonna being in a vicious cycle, making all the mistakes. Learn from your mistakes, get a coach, and improve. If you don't improve, something needs to be changed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Una.
You're
I
welcome.
hope that we open eyes a little bit for some girls.
Hope
Uh,
that somebody will gonna use and find useful any of the informations. So
yeah, me too, me too. And if anyone are looking for a coach, you are coaching not only a woman, yes?
I do both men and women. Yeah.
Okay, so all the links to the coaching and social media and whenever you can find you're gonna find in the description down below. So give her a follow and if you need a consultation and anything, you can find it on her website, I think. Yes,
Yeah, our
yeah.
Instagram page. You can just, I have a link there, so they can either send to email or just DM to Instagram.
Okay, so if anyone are sticking with us to the end of this podcast, just comment down below, leave a like, and hit the subscription button for more. Thank you for today, and thank you, Una, for taking your time.
You're
I know
welcome. My
you're
pleasure.
a busy person,
Yeah.
so I am really appreciate that. Thank you so much, and see you later.